For years, isekai anime has stood as a defining pillar of the fantasy genre, whether by sheer chance or the unstoppable force of the legendary Truck-kun. Every year, fresh and imaginative concepts transport us to new worlds, leaving fans in a constant struggle, which series to skip and which to binge in one sitting. Welcome back to mangarealm. Today, we're diving into the best new isekai and fantasy anime of 2025. Be sure to watch until the end. Your next binge-worthy obsession might just be on this list. Number 1. Someday will I be the greatest alchemist? Isekai usually means you're summoned as a hero, blessed with cheat powers, and thrown into the spotlight like some overpowered anime protagonist. But not for Taki-ira. Instead, he gets dragged into another world by a goddess who couldn't cast a spell without tripping over her own robes. She's basically the divine version of a walking disaster, cosmic oops included. After this accidental summoning, oops again, she offers Taki a wish to make up for the whole yoinked from Earth without consent thing. Taki, just wanting to chill, picks alchemy. Peaceful, quiet, boring, right? Wrong. Turns out, in this world, alchemy isn't some nerdy hobby with test tubes and herbs. It's a god-tier craft that lets you whip up anything, from healing potions to flying castles, cloud beds to anti-dragon artillery. One moment you're grinding ingredients, the next you're bending reality like it's Play-Doh. Taki goes from a nobody to the most wanted alchemist on the continent. Villages, he's turning them into magical metropolises. Need transport? He's inventing flying ships. Want caffeine? He brews coffee so potent it might awaken ancient spirits. And all of this because a clumsy goddess pushed the wrong cosmic button. It's part comedy, part world building, and full-on alchemy chaos. If you thought potions were just for healing, think again. Taki's mixing up a new future, one vial at a time. Number 2, Onmyo Kaiten, Rebirth. What if you were stuck in a loop, reliving the same moments over and over again? Meet Takeru, a loner, a street brawler, and someone who's never cared for anyone but himself. He prefers fists over feelings, and if you're not useful in a fight, you're not worth his time. Except for Tsukimiya, a mysterious girl who visits only in his dreams. But dreams turn into a nightmare when a sudden accident sends Takeru plummeting off a cliff, literally, and he wakes up in a futuristic version of Hyenkyo, a city where spirit magic and high-tech gadgets walk hand in hand. Even crazier, Tsukimiya is real, and the city's protected by legendary Onmyuji, ancient sorcerers who now battle spiritual threats in digital armor. But before he can wrap his head around this glowing, ghost-riddled Tokyo 2.0, a dark mist rolls in, unleashing monstrous Oni. Chaos erupts. Takeru and Tsukimiya fight bravely, but fall. Game over, except it's not, because the moment death claims him, he wakes up again. Back at the start, same arrival, same city, same people. Only now he's pissed. Determined to change fate, he seeks out Abno-sensei, a master on Myuji, to learn the art of spiritual combat. Loop after loop, he trains, fights, dies, repeats. Each cycle brings new skills, new allies, and new truths. But the question remains, who's behind the loop? What is Tsukimiya's connection to it all? And most of all, can Takeru break free before he loses his soul to the cycle forever? Onmyo Kaiten, Rebirth, blends mystical tradition with cyberpunk vibes, packs emotional punches alongside spiritual brawls, and it's dropping July 2025. Get ready to loop, learn, and unleash. Number 3. Even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually strongest. In a world where destinies are handed out like party favors by the gods themselves, he pulls the short straw. Appraiser, no sword skills, no magic. Just a glorified librarian who looks at stats and tells people what they already know. Useless, right? That's what his party thought too. They used him, mocked him, then tossed him aside like yesterday's loot. Alone, betrayed, and barely hanging on. Hein had no reason to fight, but here's the twist. When you've got nothing to lose, you finally start seeing what others miss. Just when he hits rock bottom, something changes. His worthless appraiser skill? Yeah, turns out it's hiding a much deeper power. One that lets him see not just stats, but secrets, weaknesses, hidden skills, even lies. Now the prey has the map, and the predators, they're on borrowed time. Ein begins to level up in silence, uncovering ancient artifacts, unlocking forbidden knowledge, and turning the world's rules on their head. He's not chasing glory, he's rewriting the game. This isn't a redemption arc, it's a rebirth. From invisible outcast to unstoppable legend, Ein is the strongest, and no one even knows it yet. Number 4, Tsuyokute New Saga. Isekai usually drops you into a fantasy world and says, good luck. You grind, level up, beat the demon lord, and boom, you're the hero. But what happens when you lose? When the world burns, your party dies, and the villain wins? That's the nightmare scenario our protagonist Kyle finds himself in. After fighting tooth and nail, his squad falls, his homeland's in ruins, and the demon lord stands victorious. Hope gone, future crushed. But fate has one more twist in store. Kyle stumbles upon a mysterious relic, and it does something insane. It sends him back in time. Not a little rewind, but all the way back to before the war began. Now, armed with painful memories of the future and the scars of his past, Kyle isn't just trying to survive, he's rewriting the whole script. Suddenly, he knows what's coming, who betrays who, where the traps lie, when the demons strike. He's got the maps, the cheat codes, and this time, he's not taking chances. It's a classic isekai, but with a time travel twist and heavy redo of redo vibes. The cool part? Kyle doesn't just power up himself, he's trying to save everyone, his comrades, his kingdom, his world. It's strategy, emotion, and redemption all rolled into one. And while the anime production might be delayed, the hype is real, because if done right, this could be one of the most epic comeback stories in fantasy anime. Number 5, the beginning after the end. Being overpowered in isekai anime? Nothing new. But being so powerful that you die of loneliness? That's a fresh tragedy. Meet King Gray. King Gray, strongest in the world, feared by all, but dead inside. And then just, well, dead. But that's not the end. It's the beginning of the end. No, wait, the beginning after the end. This time around, he's reborn into a new world with his memories intact. Magic exists, monsters roam, and people don't flinch when they hear fireball. It's a classic isekai setup. But here's the twist. This anime actually tries to tell a story. Crazy, right? The prologue doesn't open with your usual truck kun or random goddess monologue. Nope. It's a flashback of King Gray's final moments. Raw, quiet, and honestly kind of haunting. It sells you on the weight of his old life, the isolation, and the guilt. That alone sets it apart from your usual OP kid with cheat skill stuff. Number 6, I Am the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire reincarnation anime usually drops you into medieval fantasy worlds. Dragons, swords, magic, and all that jazz. But what if you're not reborn as a chosen hero or a noble knight? What if instead you come back as a spoiled young noble in the middle of a sprawling space empire? Welcome to I Am the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. Our protagonist, a guy who dies betrayed and bankrupt. Talk about hitting rock bottom. But here's the twist. He's reborn into a powerful galactic family with a legacy of domination and politics. Sounds like the perfect chance for revenge or power grabbing, right? Well, he tries to live selfishly this time around, keeping his head down and just enjoying the perks of nobility. But every move he makes somehow ends up helping others. And before he knows it, he's beloved by his people and a respected ruler. It's like watching a strategy game mixed with sci-fi and a pinch of satire. There's political intrigue, space battles, and a whole lot of how did that selfish act turn into a heroic deed moments. The stakes are cosmic, literally, and the universe is your playground. If you're tired of the usual fantasy reincarnation tropes and want something with clever humor, big-scale politics, and sci-fi flair, this one's for you. Imagine ruling a galaxy where even your slip-ups turn into victories, and your selfishness becomes legend. That's I Am the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire in a nutshell. Number 7, Yandere Dark Elf. Isekai stories are fun. You get reborn, wield amazing powers, and save the world like it's just another day at the office. But what happens when you come back to Earth thinking it's all over, only to have your wildest ally literally follow you back? Meet Hinata, the typical hero who just finished slaying the demon lord with his comrades. His reward? A peaceful return to normal life. High school, friends, and all that jazz. Sounds simple, right? Not quite. Because Marie Belle, a dark elf with a seriously yandere streak, isn't about to let Hinata out of her sight. She's obsessive, fiercely protective, and definitely not shy about showing her affection. Anyone who even looks at Hinata the wrong way, consider them dealt with. Now picture this. A normal high school guy trying to survive exams, crushes, and homework while living under the same roof as a super obsessed dark elf who's part lover, part stalker, and 100% determined to keep him all to herself. It's like a romantic thriller meets supernatural chaos. Will Hinata keep his cool and manage his normal life? Or will Marie's yandere obsession turn his everyday world upside down? Get ready for wild twists, intense emotions, and a love story that's anything but ordinary. This season's wildest anime is here, and it's a ride you won't want to miss. Number 8, a wild last boss appeared. Let's kick things off with a wild last boss appeared. The story follows Rufus, a dark-winged angel who was defeated 2 centuries ago. But here's the twist. A man from the real world suddenly wakes up in her body. Not just anywhere, but inside the world of the MMORPGX gate. Sounds like a dream, right? Except the game world has changed drastically. The entire world is now under the control of non-human forces. It's no longer the familiar game Rufus once knew. So what does Rufus do? She sets out on a mission to reunite with her former comrades, the legendary 12 Stars of Heaven. Together, they aim to reclaim their lost glory, rewrite destiny, and take back the world from these alien invaders. Think of it like an epic comeback story, one part MMO adventure, one part dark fantasy, and all parts intense. It's a wild ride of power struggles, strategy, and uncovering secrets of a world gone upside down. If you're into games and fantasy with a twist of reincarnation and revenge, this one's got you covered. Number 9. The dark history of the reincarnated villainess. Imagine being an aspiring author named Konoha who finally gets her big break, but with a cruel twist. She wakes up not as the heroine, but as the villainess of her own fantasy romance novel. Yeah, the one she painstakingly wrote with all those dark, twisted plot lines and inevitable tragic endings. Now, instead of sipping tea and watching the story unfold from a safe distance, Konoha is living it, and she remembers every doomed fate she ever penned for the villainess. Forced to navigate a world where everyone expects her to be the ruthless antagonist, she scrambles desperately to rewrite her own fate before it's too late. But just when she thinks she might pull off a miraculous escape from the villainess's destiny, an unknown character shows up, someone she never created. He claims to be her ally, promising to help her survive. Sounds great, right? Except, can she trust him? Is he truly on her side, or just another twist in her already tangled story? With high stakes, dark secrets, and a race against fate itself, the dark history of the reincarnated villainess is a thrilling journey about rewriting destiny and discovering that not every ally is what they seem.